All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. Should be a very, very interesting week this week. And I say that every week. This week should be very interesting. We have FOMC. We got FOMC this Wednesday and GDP on Thursday, PCE on Friday. So it is a jam-packed week full of economic data and even PMI on Monday. So going right into the charts, those are the big events we need to look out for, especially Wednesday FOMC. Going right into the charts, we are starting to show some signs of weakness. We've been on just a crazy run. And these next 2 weeks, right? Christmas, New Year's, the holidays week, they can be a little bit slower. So I think this week may be the last like okay week with decent price action. And then the last week, I'm probably just gonna take off because of holidays, and I'm not even gonna put myself in a position to trade low volatility, So probably my last week trading for the year. Um, and then just start off the new year fresh. So we broke out of this trend line here on SPY. You can even adjust this, but you can clearly see that we are no longer well, in order for us to consider this a downtrend, we would need to take out this low here at 602. This is also Tuesday's low and last week's, let me see, and last week's low. Last week's low, and so last week's low and last week's low, or this week's low and last week's low. You see these past 2 weeks. So December 2nd and December 9th, those 2 weeks, they have the same low. If that low gets taken out, we are pushing down to 601 and psychological 600 on SPY. We have room down to there. You can also see we have an all-time high here at 609. And we have been making lower highs since we got to that point. So I would draw a trend line from here to here. Still not valid. I mean, I need another touch of it, but it is a lower highs. We are forming lower high, lower high. And this is the low that I'll be watching on SPY, either for a bounce back into these highs or a break and retest below gets us to 601, 600. Daily candle is a little bit bearish. Weekly candle, it closed a little bit bearish as well, as it closed a little bit lower, and it closed pretty close to last week's low. So if last week's low gets taken out, 600 is next, and then the previous week low, which is 596 to like 595 area, that will be the next pretty much main target. There's going to be a level in between, which is 598. But other than that, we can target 596 if things start getting weak. Okay, 596 will be next. Now, the only thing that could mess this whole thing up is FOMC. So that's going to be my analysis with SPY. Pretty short, pretty simple. We start getting back above 607. We can start looking for pushes back into highs or the bounce off of these last week's lows. If we start showing signs of us actually holding, we're looking for the push higher. Until then, I'll look for the break below to 600, 601. QQQ. Very similar. So here on the 4-hour chart, we do have a bearish divergence where the stock makes a higher high, but the RSI does make a lower high. And it's almost like a rising wedge too in a way. So I have connecting points at the top, connecting points here at the bottom. So this is what I would be looking for. This was our recent high here that is being respected as support right now. You guys can see that we came and we held this area. So look at this. Wednesday was all-time high, and then the very next day, or the very next 2 days, Friday, we made a new all-time high. But then we fell back below Wednesday's high, which was at 530, right? Once we broke below that 530, signs of weakness, and then we rejected again here. So that 530 is going to be important. If we stay below that, I could see a push lower down into this low here of 527, right? Kind of like this area here. And then once we break below this area, it's room down to 526 and kind of like this area here, 525, and then yeah, back down to like 524. So below, if we start getting below 527, 526, 524 should be coming up. If I see it, the target of a rising wedge is the bottom of the wedge. So I'd say like pretty much down here, the 521, 520 could be a good opportunity. And we are showing signs of potential reversal. So the bearish divergence being one, the rising wedge being two. this doji on the daily. This is a sign of reversal. Now, this may be something that you wouldn't want to trade. I mean, you could trade ZODTs if you're going to be in and out quick, targeting something in the money. But now, if you're going to go a couple dollars out the money, and since this is a higher time frame move, you can expect for this to play out in the next couple of days, right? So this may take some time to play out. So it's not something that you don't want to have like a little bit of time on. It's something you definitely want to have some time on. But yeah, that's how I'd probably trade this. If we start getting back above 530, we're pushing back to highs at 533. Like I said, anything can change with the economic data this week. So it's important to have levels to both sides and be ready to adjust. But now the more confidence that I'm starting to get is some of these individual names starting to show weakness. Starting with Nvidia, probably one of my favorite setups going into the week. We have a head and shoulders here on these higher time frames for Nvidia. It's pretty clear as day that we have a head and shoulders, and Nvidia sells off, that's going to bring down Qs, right? It's a big holding in the S&P and in the QQQ. Head and shoulders, neckline is here at 132. Anything below 132 pushes us down to 129. And let's see what else. That's the 21 EMA. If it starts getting below that, that's where it's going to get really ugly. But if this area holds, right, people can get faked out right here too. So this was a previous resistance here, and it was support here. Really below like that 129 would really like confirm a move a lot lower. So see it was supply here, demand here. We would really need to see a flush below this. That'll open up the door to 125, 120, right? If things get very aggressive. So a daily candle close below that zone would be nice. A weekly candle close below that zone, really showing us that weakness. Unless you get an early entry before, you still have to calculate a risk reward. You don't want to just enter without calculating your risk reward, It just doesn't make sense, right? You want to have confirmation as well. Okay, so that's going to be NVIDIA. Watch it below this zone here, down into 125, 120. Probably be waiting for a higher time frame candle close confirmation. Microsoft broke above supply and it fell right back below it. So not really signs of it holding. It's kind of like an evening star here now on the weekly. On the daily. Strong shooting star last week. Oh, sorry, yesterday, 2 days ago, and then another bearish candle close. It's probably pushing back down to 441, 440. Not my favorite setup as right now. Just giving me extra confidence that some of the individual names that are some of the top holdings in the S&P are showing signs of weakness, including Apple as well. You could see that Apple, we had a low, higher low, and here we are. We're starting to get that break of this trend line here. All right, we're starting to get the break of this trend line. We failed to make a higher high up here. So this could be considered a lower high. And if this low gets taken out, 245, I actually do like the setup. I can calculate my risk reward with this one. With 245, below 245, we have room down to 244 and potentially 242. So if things get weak with Apple, it's probably a flush down to 242. And I like that. I like that setup, especially if Qs gets weak, NVIDIA gets weak. This is a good potential setup with stops above recent highs. Doesn't look bad. Amazon is also starting to show signs of reversals, right? We broke this trend line, failed to make a higher high. Here we have a lower high. So watch it below this recent lower low, 226. That'll open up the door to 224. And below that, it could get very weak, right? It could get weak down into 216. 220 first, but 216 would be 220 would be first. And yeah, I mean, it was just a straight shot up, so be a straight shot down too when things do get weak. So we'll see how that plays out. It's Amazon, Nvidia, AMD has just been super weak as well. We broke below this demand, came back, retested it, bear flag, just that next move down. AMD looks like it has room down into 117, 118. How would I trade this though? Probably watch it as long as it stays below. As long as it stays below. This is tough. I'd probably just watch a break and retest of the recent low. Yeah, watch break and retest of recent lows. I kind of like NVIDIA a little bit more. Meta also showing signs of weakness. This is going to be a key level I watch this week. 608. Supply, demand, demand. If it comes down to this demand, we can watch it for a relief bounce. But if the overall market gets weak and we break below this, that's going to open up the doors to 600 on Meta. It's about an $8 move. It's not bad at all. 600 is a key level to be careful at. It's a big bounce level. But that's about an $8 short from 608 to 600 if it fails below that. If it holds and the market starts paying up, it's a good bounce area as well. So just watching it carefully around that area. Google has been one of the stronger names. It finally started to show some weakness as it failed to hold this all-time high here. We broke above all-time high, which was 191.8. And then we retested it and we failed the retest. So Google looks like an amazing short opportunity as well. If it stays below this high, then this has room down to 182. This actually looks great for swing trade. I'm seeing a lot of opportunities in the market right now, especially if the market does get extended, we get some type of sell-off. Only thing that could mess these setups up is going to be FOMC. So this looks like a great setup. I like it. Next up is Tesla, just showing an insane amount of strength compared to the overall market. Don't want to chase this move. But if it continues to show strength, the easy play would be a 430 bounce. Just continue to watch higher highs and higher lows, recent high, see if it comes in retest at the higher low, 430. So I'll watch that level. And then what else? Netflix, Disney, Goldman Sachs. Even the banks are starting to show weakness. I don't like shorting banks though. Do not like shorting this bank. Um, what else? What else? But yeah, guys, I'm gonna keep it short and simple with just the top, the main names. You know, SPY Qs, a lot of the individual names. If you guys see anything, comment in the leave a comment. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to learn, I think I am gonna do another beginners boot camp for the new year. So make sure to follow my Instagram to stay updated with those details. Send me a DM if you're interested in that as well. I'm also doing a discount code Christmas for the Market Mastery Blueprint. I'll drop a link in the description as well. It's gonna be 40% off, and that expires after Christmas. So I highly recommend if you did want to get a little bit more details into strategy, psychology, risk management, how to create watch lists, finding names of relative strength, relative weakness, covers everything A through Z. So that's why I'm able to make these watch lists like simple, like just scrolling through. It's also time and experience, you know, but yeah, guys, let's have a great trading week. Following this next week, I don't know if I'll drop a watch list or not because it's the holidays and I don't want to like trade low volatility. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great trading week. And yeah, guys, stay safe and have good holidays. Peace.